I've actually been having a ton of fun over the last while, just testing all these different AI things. What's crazy, Reuven, for me is having tested many of these, be it your chatbots, AI voice calling, as an example, just the advancements that I've seen in the last 6 months are astonishing. I used to go and find every single trial I could of like an AI voice feature for calling, and the latency on these things would be like 5 to 10 seconds.
Mhm.
In some of these, it's almost instantaneous now. You could speak to it the same way that you would speak to another person. In fact, some of them have gotten so fast, I had to slow them down so that it actually sounds like a real person and isn't operating too quickly, because that's how fast they've been able to process information now. And on the chat side, I'm thinking about, there was a time when you used to try to hide from the fact that it was an AI or an automated, large language model that was like backing this thing up and giving the client the experience. Now it's like, hey, I'm your AI chatbot, and you can be on the other side of it saying like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Why do I need some human to schedule an appointment next Tuesday at 10 a.m. when I could literally type in, can you please schedule me a phone call next Tuesday for 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? And it says, okay, no problem. What's the best number to reach you? You put in the phone number and it says your appointment is now confirmed. We'll send you an email or text message confirmation, and we'll have someone reach out to you at that time. Why wouldn't I do that instead of waiting for someone maybe to come into the office the next day and message me at 9 a.m. when it's not convenient for me because now I'm in the middle of my workday? When I think about what's coming in what used to be the parts of the technology that were hidden that we would try to avoid and try to make them appear like they were humans, I think one of the big cultural changes will be we are just going to accept that it is an AI technology on the other side of the transaction. But if it helps us do what we need to do, we're going to be okay with that ultimately. And we're the old guys here. Our kids' generation and that, like, they won't want any friction in any experience in anything they do. And they want AI to solve for everything. And by the way, that's the next generation of future homeowners, right?
I couldn't agree more. At the end of the day, it's funny when I, talk about some of these, call bots and things like that. Generally, the reaction is, well, I'm not going to use it because my clients want to talk to me, right? And I don't argue that they want to talk to you, right? But for which purpose? Because if there's a job to be done and you can remove friction, like you said, Bekim, like I need to book an appointment. I want to come see you on, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Do I really need to talk to you? No, I don't. Right. And it's the same
Right.
thing. We've replaced parking attendants and we've replaced, travel agents and all that sort of stuff. And we're absolutely fine with, dealing with the technology and trust it with, booking our trips and doing all sorts of tasks because, again, it just removes that inefficiency that exists today, right? And I'm not belittling the human value, but I'm just saying, how do we leverage that to remove some of the friction? How do we leverage the technology to come in and just do a better job for these menial types of tasks, which leads us probably to kind of the next step, which is I get asked a lot, well, okay, well, if we got all this AI, am I going to have a future as a mortgage broker or as a real estate agent or as a lender? And I kind of have the same answer for everyone. Like, yes, you will, because ultimately high stakes, high stress transaction is always going to need people. I know AI is going to get far more empathic than it is today to give you those like, cheesy responses. Oh, sorry, you feel that way, right? It's going to get much better on that
That's a
sense.
good AI impression. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'm trying to get there. But ultimately, the ones that do deploy technology to become more efficient and get rid of these like menial tasks, the appointment booking, the pushing the documents, the 10,000 emails flying back and forth in a transaction, you're going to have that competitive advantage, right? Because everybody wants instant gratification, everybody wants that seamless experience, and nobody wants to, continue to invest in that legacy world, right? So someone
Hmm.
with AI as their toolkit, and that's all it is, it's a toolkit for now, will have a much greater competitive advantage over someone who is just still believes that, hey, my clients want to talk to me and it's got to be me answering all the phones and it's got to be me
Right.
sending all the emails and all that stuff. It's great thinking, but it'll never scale.
Right. Yeah, like your client wants their handheld for the hard stuff. I think about even a mortgage going through the process, and you'll talk to a mortgage broker like, hey, I do a great job communicating with my clients through the process. And like, what does that look like? And like, once a week I give them a call and I tell them what all their outstanding conditions are.
Hmm.
Well, what if instead it was automated that the client received a weekly text message and a weekly email stating what all of their outstanding conditions are? And you could still call the client every single week, but instead of hounding them for the documents that you just got an automated text to tell them about, you were instead filling in all the gaps for all the other things that they needed to understand as part of the process and actually supporting them through the transaction and really holding their hand in the way that matters as opposed to all the mundane tasks. So I couldn't agree more. It's not about replacing the human, it's about enhancing the human, allowing that experience to be a lot more personal and not focus so much on the pushing of paper, but rather on the relationship. And I've said it from the beginning, and I'll always believe this: the relationship and the communication between humans is the last piece to go. It's all of the administrative that we need to ultimately work on and solve for. And I think that's the best place. And AI may get hard coded for empathy, but it will never have actual human empathy, and it will never actually, become part of the overall relationship that exists between two people.